So it turns out there is no free lunch, even if you are among those lucky enough to be dining at the Harvard Faculty Club. Harvard professors are outraged to be slammed with higher health care costs as a result of Obamacare. They were shocked to read their open enrollment packets, which patiently explained the costs are going up as a result of new provisions in the Affordable Care Act, like the Cadillac tax and letting your kids stay on your plan until they're 26. One French history professor says raising her health care premiums is tantamount to giving her a pay cut. No kidding. I'm a Harvard alum. I know these folks. I've sat in their classrooms. They aren't the stupid voters of Grubergate who can't do math. I personally believe they knew costs would go up, but they thought that the costs would somehow be absorbed elsewhere in the system. Donors. Someone else was going to pay this tab. And that is, in fact, one of the main problems in American politics. We all want life to be better for everyone. Who wouldn't? I mean, who doesn't want all Americans and, all humanity for that matter, to have good health care? But are you willing to personally take a pay cut in order to pay for the policy you're advocating? That is the hard question the president and proponents of Obamacare did not want you to grapple with, because they were afraid your reaction would be akin to the screams that are now echoing through Harvard Yard. Joining me now, Guy Benson of townhall.com. He is also a Fox News contributor. Lise Wheel is a Fox News legal analyst. Jack Howe is Barron's senior editor. They all join us. Thank you for joining me for this discussion. This all came out of a New York Times article when they went out and they interviewed a whole bunch of folks on the Harvard campus, because this has turned into a big ordeal. Jack Howe, does it surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me. It does surprise me that, how can we force these professors at Harvard to live by the same rules as the rest of us? I mean, that seems ungodly. But, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they're feeling the pinch. I mean, everyone sees what's happening with their health plan costs.
Right. Go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah, isn't that the point, really, that we all know that our health care costs are going up? We knew it as soon as this Obamacare passed. Everybody, not just Harvard law professors, my alma mater as well, everybody knew that those prices were going to be going up. So now they're shocked.
I'm not sure everybody knew that. I mean, I think that was one of the big problems out of the gate. Was it was sold as, if you like your plan, you can keep it. If you like your doctor, you can keep it. Nothing's going to change. It's just going to be that we're going to somehow magically put all these other people in the system, and it's not going to cost them anything. Guy, I don't believe, though, as I said, that these folks were immune to the math. I think they knew it. They just didn't think that it would come home to roost for them. What do you think?
All right, those consequences are for other sorts of people, not faculty members at Harvard. And Melissa, I have to confess that the Schadenfreude runs deep on this story. Not just because of the sputtering quotes that we're reading from these professors, but because they're also quoted, as you said, in the New York Times, of all places, just so upset that the policies and the politicians that they overwhelmingly support have come back with outcomes that are rather unpleasant for them.
But, Guy, to me, this is the problem with so much of American politics, is that we all want nice things for everyone.
Sure.
We want health care for everybody, of course. We want it for ourselves, we want it for our neighbors. But nothing is free. And you have to ask folks, as they go ahead and they put forward policies, are you willing to personally take a pay cut to pay for this policy that you want? And it turns out a lot of these folks who signed open letters to the president and who are advocates do not want to personally pay for it. And I think that's
right.
The point.
Well, and I'll just point out 96% of political contributions in the 2012 presidential election from Ivy League professors went to Barack Obama. So in theory, they were for all of it. But as you say, when it comes down to brass tacks, now they're howling. They had this big vote against these increases, which are inevitable given what the policy calls for. And yeah, I think that you're right. They assumed that even if some people got a raw deal, it was for the greater good and it wouldn't impact them at the end of the day. And now it is modestly, and they are furious.
Isn't it amazing that they actually get to vote? Can you imagine if you're in corporate America? Let's take a vote, every employee, to see whether or not you want your costs to go up. That doesn't happen in corporate America. It only happens in these kind of institutions.
What if we had some sort of cost mechanism where you could, quantify for folks as they get out there and they're in favor of a policy of, you want to increase the number of food stamps, you want to do this, you want to do that. Here's precisely what it's going to cost you as a taxpayer. Come the first of the year, you're going to be paying exactly this. Jack, what do you think? Would it change the way that people vote on things?
we do have groups that do that, you know, that do
well, maybe
congressional
people don't trust
analysis,
the way
but
that
people don't read the
math.
numbers.
I mean, when you talk about when the CBO goes out and they put out there what the cost of something is going to be, a debate you and I like to have all the time.
In something like healthcare, it's also contingent on a variety of other factors. I mean, what happens with healthcare inflation and so forth. But look, even the party that passed Obamacare, you got the sense that they did it kind of holding their noses, that they didn't really think it was anything close to a perfect solution or even a very good solution. It was just the best that they could get by at the time.
All right.
Now it winds up at Harvard.
We're going to leave it there. Thanks, guys. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Follow me on Twitter at Melissa A. Francis. Like me on Facebook.com/Melissa Francis Fox. I read all your comments. I love them. All right, Steve.